Greetings from Latvia. So before starting this channel, I actually did a Euro trip from the very eastern border of European Union to Malaga in Spain, which is almost the most southern point of Europe. And since this is kind of a fusion between car and travel vlog, I thought I'd share this awesome experience with you guys. Maybe some of you will get some inspiration to do a similar trip on your own, or maybe there will be some practical tips if you have already decided to go on such a journey. So we packed everything we need for camping, for remote work, the computers, clothes, some food supplies and so on. In the hindsight though, if I had to do such a journey again, I would not take the camping equipment with me because we were able to use it only 3 times. It was not absolutely necessary, and in most parts of Western Europe it's actually forbidden to wild camp. So we started in Riga. I had my girlfriend and one of my best mates with me in the back seat. We went straight through Poland and Lithuania with no stops almost. We just stopped in Warsaw to spend the night there because I was driving on my own for the whole journey. No disdain to the neighboring countries, Lithuania and Poland. We just thought there is not too much to see, although I'm sure there are pretty and interesting cities to see in Poland and Lithuania as well. When we stayed overnight in Poland in an Airbnb, we felt that we haven't gotten too far in those 8 hours because the apartment building and the surrounding areas were so similar to what we have back at home. And good job Poland, they have done a tremendous amount of work. The infrastructure is there, the speed limits were relatively high, like 130 kilometers per hour. 10 years before that was a lot worse. It could be comparable to Latvia or even worse. So then we set off for Germany. The next stop was Dresden. Beautiful city with beautiful architecture, and of course we could not exclude from the list the Neuschwanstein Castle. Epic mountains, epic sceneries. And the next stop was in Füssen. So we kind of went straight through Germany as well. Germany has highways and autobahns that are such a joy to drive. But then apart from that, we didn't see much in Germany. We left Füssen to cross Austrian border, and one of the main destinations was Switzerland. And that was the highlight of the whole journey, I think. It was so beautiful, so picturesque. So what you see in the pictures on some Instagram reels about Switzerland, it is actually like that. Cliffs with waterfalls on the background of some beautiful small towns, cows walking on the streets, and the scenery was just awesome. And at least the region through which we went was relatively high, like about 1.5 kilometers above sea level. Many places had the clouds very low to the road surface, and the scenery was surreal. Swiss Alps are so beautiful, definitely worth visiting. Speaking of high altitudes, the most thrilling experience must have been the Muren Iron Path. It is a 2.2 kilometer journey, part iron path and part hiking trail. Really scary, but not too physically demanding. You must have proper hiking shoes, they won't let you in without them, or you have to buy or rent a pair on the spot. A must-see, I would say, except in case you are afraid of heights. This might be a bit overwhelming, and there are no possibilities to go back or around these steeper spots. One thing to remember in Switzerland is that you have to get a vignette, that is kind of a permit to go on the highways. Without that you can have hefty fine And be careful with navigation with mobile data. It is not European Union, and if you are using a SIM card bought in Spain, Latvia, Germany, whatever, every megabyte costs like €5. So if you watch accidentally a YouTube video, that can cost easily 50, €100. So be careful of that. Another place to check out is Furka Pass. Furka? So it is the mountain pass that was used as a place for shooting James Bond Goldfinger movie. And of course roads have changed. We spotted a couple of exotic cars there as well. And the roads are so nice. A lot of hairpins, a lot of curves. We stayed in the mountains in Airbnb, and also the scenery was just like out of a movie. But yeah, that place is quite expensive, so we were holding back to fill up the car until we get to the France, where the fuel was a lot cheaper. And the next destination was in France, where our friend would have to leave us, and we were continuing with my girlfriend for the rest of the journey. Not only the Euro trip, but the trip to Indonesia, Singapore, and basically the rest of the year. So I have separate episodes about that. And France was kind of annoying because we were trying to avoid the toll roads, and those have roundabouts every a couple of 100 meters. So the Waze was saying, in the roundabout, take the second exit.
In the roundabout, take the second exit. In the roundabout, take the second exit.
Non-stop the whole night when we were driving. And France was ridden with the speed cameras. The western part of France started resembling Spain a little bit, most probably because we got close to the Spanish border. And there was also a funny episode in France when we stayed overnight in which we thought was a forest, but it actually turned out to be a park in the morning. People were walking their dogs and having their morning runs there, and we were there with our tent. Thankfully, we disappeared soon enough after waking up, and the local police didn't notice us because it's obviously not allowed to camp there. We could have gotten ourselves a hefty fine exceeding just paying for a hotel, but it was logistically really convenient. Yeah, adding disco toilets and disgusting mattresses to everything mentioned, the overall experience on the road was more negative than positive in France. But the cities we visited were utterly beautiful, especially Montpellier, where we had to part with our friend and definitely made up for the inconveniences. So, next destination in Spain was Barcelona. Oh yeah, the beautiful Barcelona. My words cannot describe how much I love that city, but traffic-wise it is a nightmare, especially for a foreigner with a car. There is the ZBE low emission zone, which requires the drivers to have labels according to their vehicle Euro emission standard, and depending on that it allows entering certain areas in the city. For foreigners there is an extra difficulty to register the vehicle for receiving such label. But at least during the working days from 8 p.m. till 8 in the morning, and on weekends it is allowed to drive everywhere regardless of your vehicle's age or Euro standard, and the surrounding highways can be used with no restrictions at all. And in the center the traffic is so heavy and hectic that you are actually better off on a motorcycle, or maybe even better an electric scooter, because you can squeeze past the traffic. You're allowed in most of the time.
These electric scooters that I tried are really convenient. You just download an app, attach a bank card and hop on any that you see parked on the street. Plus you don't need to worry about parking, just leave it somewhere on the sidewalk and go about your business. Many companies provide these electric scooters, but the one I tried was Axion and it worked perfectly for a reasonable fee.
But the surrounding areas are really enjoyable. They have many twisty roads in the mountains where I rented a couple of motorcycles. And I have the very first episode on this channel, which is quite low quality, but I try to review the experience I'm having on a Honda CB600 on the roads surrounding Barcelona.
And so after a month in Barcelona we hit the road again and visited several other cities along the coastline on our way to the final destination, Malaga. Benidorm is quite a weird place. It is a supposedly glamorous city with skyscrapers on the edge of Mediterranean Sea, built mainly for British tourists who like to party hard and spend lots of money there. But when we visited Benidorm, COVID was raging and it was absolutely abandoned. Like a futuristic ghost town with neon lights, fancy buildings, but no one there. And be careful if you happen to be driving there, because the streets look encouraging to go fast, but the city was full of radars and 30-kilometer speed limits. A really strange city.
Before we came up with the idea to have a Euro trip in the first place, actually I considered buying a motorhome, which would allow us to stay any place we wanted. And the other scale of the vehicles I considered for this journey was a cabrio, because on that end in Spain it would have been such a joy to have a cabrio. But I'm kind of glad that I chose to buy just an estate.
Our friend wouldn't have fitted in a cabrio, but a motorhome isn't that enjoyable to drive. But a regular estate has the best of both worlds, a very enjoyable drive in the corners and enough space for the third passenger and luggage. For 4 people it would probably still be enough, but then forget about camping equipment, riding gear, etc. Engine-wise, a larger diesel is perfect for such a journey. This 3-liter M57 drank about 6 liters every 100 kilometers, but at no point felt sluggish even when pulling our caravan up the mountains or overtaking at higher speeds. And of course I had prepared for most probable difficulties, but thankfully none of it was necessary.
We were quite lucky to do the Euro trip when the gas prices were still okay. Right now it would have been a really expensive journey. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, some more videos are coming. Till next time, ciao!